Here's a story from Grandpa for my three favorite little girls, Emma, Ayla, and Audrey. Today I'm reading you a third story from the guy who wrote I Am a Bear and a Blue So Blue. Remember quite a while ago I read you a story by the old Greek storyteller Aesop that was considered a fable because it used animals to illustrate a moral of how people should or shouldn't act. Today's story is also a fable because it uses animals to tell a story of how silly people sometimes act, especially when it comes to walls. Here it is, The Chickens Build a Wall. Written and illustrated by Jean-Francois Dumont. On the farm, the chickens have built a wall, though no one is exactly sure why. It all started early one fall morning when a hedgehog showed up in the middle of the barnyard. He might have been lost, or maybe he was just looking for something to eat. Either way, no one at the farm had ever seen a hedgehog, and everyone was fascinated by the strange new creature. When the hedgehog saw that so many animals had gathered to look at him, he immediately curled up into a tight ball, to the astonishment of everyone in the barnyard. The chickens clucked and the ducks quacked, and all the birds eyed the hedgehog suspiciously, but no one dared to go near him. Zita, the smallest goose, asked if maybe the new creature had just been startled by having so many animals crowd around him, but no one heard her amid all the chattering and arguing. Edgar the rat didn't see what all the fuss was about. What's so interesting about this chestnut with paws? An old pigeon who had traveled far and wide, however, said that he had heard about these beasts and warned that it was best to be cautious around them. All this time the hedgehog still hadn't moved, and soon the birds grew tired of watching him. They all went back to their business, though each bird still kept a wary eye on the new creature. The hedgehog stayed right where he was until night fell. By the time the sun rose the next morning, the hedgehog had disappeared. In the henhouse, rumors were flying fast and furious. Who does that creature think he is? Gone like a thief. Strange. I bet he didn't leave empty-handed. We should count our chicks and our eggs. All the birds checked on their chicks and their eggs, but none were missing. This didn't calm their fears, however. One chicken who wanted attention declared that since the hedgehog had appeared, there were fewer worms to be found. It's true, chimed in another. The worms have gotten scarcer. I wouldn't be surprised if he ate them all. The clucking started up again, even louder this time. The rooster happened to be passing by just then and decided that this was a perfect occasion to take control of a barnyard full of hens who hadn't been paying much attention to him. Hens, that's enough. We cannot let ourselves be tricked without doing something about it. We have to protect ourselves against prickly invaders. The hens quivered with excitement, carried away by the rooster's fine words. Only one little chick protested. If we use our beaks to defend ourselves against those spikes, we'll all end up skewered. A shiver of fear ruffled through the hen's feathers. Let's build a wall around the hen house, the rooster suggested. A wall so high that no wild animals will be able to get over it, so high that even birds won't be able to fly over it. And as one flock, the enthusiastic hens set to work. To the rest of the farm, all this fuss seemed ridiculous. A mole predicted that pigs would learn to fly before the wall was finished. You can't become a mason just like that, she added with a sniff. Only Edgar saw an advantage. With any luck, we won't have to hear that darn rooster crowing at dawn, he muttered, shrugging his shoulders. The hens ignored the mocking and kept at their work into the winter. The rooster watched over all the construction and made sure that no one slacked off. The wall grew steadily higher and higher. Soon the roof of the henhouse couldn't be seen, but the wall continued to grow. The hens didn't even stop working when the snow began to fly, and soon the wall was taller than the barn. But that still wasn't enough to satisfy the rooster. The higher the wall, the safer we'll be. Keep up that good work. Let's show the farm that we won't chicken out. Finally, the wall was so high that, from the ground, no one could see where it ended. The chickens were exhausted, and the hens had even forgotten to lay their eggs. Everyone just wanted life in the barnyard to return to normal. They threw a huge party to celebrate the new wall, and the rooster put the last brick in place amid joyful clucking. It was at that exact moment that the hedgehog emerged from the straw where he had spent the winter sleeping. Since the hens had forgotten to make a door in the wall, he stayed in that barnyard waiting for the rooster to dig an opening. And since the wall was so very solid, that took all summer. Meanwhile, the hens got used to the hedgehog, and the hedgehog wasn't afraid of the hens anymore. And so he stayed. And that's the end of the story. I once read you a poem by Robert Frost called Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. He wrote another poem that I really like called Mending Walls. In that poem he says, "Something there is that doesn't love a wall that wants it down." In this story, the author tells us you have to be very careful about building walls because walls keep things out, but they also keep things in. And you really need to understand what you're keeping out and what you will end up keeping in before you decide to build a wall. And very often a wall doesn't accomplish what you thought you wanted it to accomplish. Always remember that Grandpa loves you without any walls, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.